Next up is George Khabbaz. George Khabbaz is the head of digital planning at Born Interactive.
I'm George Khabbaz. I'm the head of digital planning at Born Interactive. I'm a contributor at WAMDA, and I love UX. Our topic today is going to be a bit controversial concerning what Mashhur said. Today, actually, we're going to talk about improving mobile user experience by adding friction. It's a way of enhancing what we have, what we do, by adding friction. Our frustrations as user experience designers, what we hear always all the time. We want the interface to be easy. We want it to be 3 clicks away. We want it to be friendly. We always hear that we want it to be usable. This is what we get paid for. But if we ignore something as important as friction and as complexity, we would fail. It's not about making the application too easy or too hard. It's about making it right, just like a guitar. If anyone plays the guitar, they would know that if the strings are too tight, it will break. If it's too loose, it won't play well. Exactly the same thing with the user experience and the friction in the mobile. So the message today is you have to embrace complexity. And what we're talking about here is not complications. There are 2 different things. And always remember that complexity and complication are 2 different things. They're not the same. We as UX designers should make the system feel simple. That's the key word. Feel simple and feel easy. It could be as complex as an intranet or as simple as an alarm clock. Our job is to make it feel easy. The grand prize is when you have a very complex information system in a mobile application in a simple interface. A quick game. This is an example that we use in user experience all the time. The Swiss knife. Who played around with the Swiss knife before? Well, as you can see, it can go from something this simple to something a bit more complicated. From the basic things, a knife, a cutter, whatever, to having a clock, to having a USB port. And to the mother of all Swiss knife. This is actually a real Swiss knife done by a company called Wegner. They make Swiss knives. It was done for their anniversary. You can actually buy this one. It's available on the market. As you see, it's a rather complex thing to actually carry in your pocket and go around with. A closer look. This thing has over 87 tools. It's over 2 kilograms in weight. It has a very heavy cognitive load in it. And it's priced for $999 if you want it, just in case you want to buy it. So the wrong thing here, it's about clarity. There's no clarity. If you want to find one single tool inside that, you're going to spend a whole lot of time just to find the right tool to use it. So it's all about clarity. It's all about how you present the information. When it comes to complex interactions and information, less is not more. I know, everybody says less is more, keep it minimalist. The real message here is just enough is more. Give enough to whatever the user is asking for. How do you do so? Everybody would ask, how do you give just enough for a user to use an application, be it mobile or web? Just give them the minimum. Whatever you're doing, just give them the minimum to accomplish the goals. Whatever they're seeking, whatever they're doing, just give them the minimum to it. More features does not mean a better application. Not at all. And here's a small example. Let's say we want to design a mobile application for controlling your washing machine at home. These are the basic features that you might assume that the user wants. the water volume, the cycle, the washing, if it's wool, if it's cotton, if it's easy. And at the end of the day, the user might just want this: wash, dry, and make me a sandwich. So whatever you do, no matter what you're doing, just go through extensive user research before coming up with an application, before coming up with a website, before with anything. It's imperative. User research. The users might not want something as complicated as the screen that we saw before. They might want something like this. And they also might want something a step further, just in between the two. Something not too complicated, but it gives them options to use them, to be a power user using the application. And remember, you shouldn't dumb down the applications. No dumbing down. As much as we say that users are dumb, most of them are not. Otherwise, they'll go on Twitter, they'll have a campaign about it, change their avatars and that sort of stuff. You don't want that. So the important message: know thy user. And when you know the user, what information do they need? What information do they want? Complexity and friction would become easier in the mobile application. You're getting rid of a layer, so to speak, of complexity, of friction, to make something really easier. How do you get users to do their tasks quickly? This is really important, because when using a mobile phone or a mobile device, users actually have little span attention. I mean, look at you, how you use your phone. You're actually tweeting right now. You're trying to concentrate on what's happening and you're tweeting at the same time. So it's a bit short. And they have little attention span and they can easily get distracted. If you get an SMS right now, you're going to look at it. You're going to drop whatever you're doing and you're going to do something else. So, alarm clock. We all use them. Very simple, easy, straight to the point. Set an alarm. It rings in the morning. You hit snooze. You miss work. Perfect. So, it's fairly simple. But for an agency, a Dutch agency called Boondoggle, it was more than just an alarm. They were having problems with their employees. Whenever it's snowing, whenever there's freeze, employees were coming in late or not coming at all. So what they did, they took something really complex, the weather, and something really simple, the alarm. They mixed both. You can actually set an alarm and tell it, if it's snowing tomorrow, I need to wake up 30 minutes before. If there's a blizzard or whatever, don't wake me up, I'll work on Saturday from the office. They took something really complex, which is the weather. You look at 5 days, you have the humidity, you have everything, the forecast. They simplified it just for this purpose, getting to work on time. So again, and I have to repeat that, stripping out features is not the solution. But they actually did here, what they did here is offer what their employees need, what their users want. What they really want are uncomplicated apps, not featureless ones. And the first day the App Store launched its doors to the public, Facebook had a really huge challenge, is launching a Facebook application for iPhone. It was a new venture for them, and they did the biggest mistake any designer can do, any developer can do. They simply assumed that what the user wants is a light version of Facebook. You can update your status, you can check your messages, and it ends there. And you can watch the stream, and it ends there. If you do a Google on the first version of Facebook for iPhone, people hated it. They didn't want an application, just a light application to update their statuses. They actually wanted something further, something more. They wanted something to mimic all the actions of Facebook on a mobile phone. So if we flash forward to the latest one, what they did is treat every single option in Facebook as an individual app. And they did a beautiful job doing that. Be it on iPhone, be it on Android, be it on any platform, this is what they did. So they treated each one as an application by itself and presented us with a suite. So they took the complexity of Facebook. If you think about it, it's a complex system. It allows you to do several stuff. And they treat it as an application. Once you're in, you're actually focused on the task at hand. All the noise, everything that might distract you, is out of the way and you're actually focusing on just the task that you're doing. It's a beautiful job that they did that, and they avoided the Wenger Swiss knife. They avoided the heavy load that you might have with an application. As you can see, you can control your pages to a certain extent. You can comment, you can post pictures, you can upload videos, you can do pretty much everything. And some stuff you can actually do them better on the mobile phone than the web version. Same goes for Twitter. Lots of users enjoy Twitter on their phones more than the web app. And that's why we have all the applications that are flooding the market in a way to use Twitter. So, quick question. How do you tag people? How do you take pictures and from a camera or video? How do you tag people? How do you check into places? How do you share music? How do you listen? Try to identify what kind of music are you listening to. Use emoticons to comment on other posts. And heaps of stuff, just all crammed into one application. It's called Path. Android and iPhone users might know it. A simple social network, mobile social network. They don't have a web interface. You simply use it over the phone. The Swiss Army knife syndrome, if you want to call it, or the example that we always do. They took it down and saved it to one button. If you look at the plus down, that's the whole control of the application. You control it from there. What they did is also focus. They took this complexity of the system, scrambled out everything, and let you focus on the task at hand. You click it, you can take pictures, videos, you can add people, you can tag people, you can check into places, you can share whatever you're listening to, and it takes you to iTunes to buy it just in case someone else doesn't have it. You can identify music just like Shazam. You can update statuses, your own statuses, and you can actually go to sleep and wake up and it leaves you like a prep message whenever you go to sleep or wake up in the morning. So they presented that in a seamless manner. The information is always there. It's complex information, but it's always there when you're asking for it. You ask for something, and they give it back to you. And this is how you should treat any application, in a matter of fact, like that. Polite conversation. You give the user whatever information they need whenever they ask you for it. Don't jam everything. Don't put everything. No matter how complex the system is, answer when asked. And friction doesn't hurt a bit. If you think about it as friction, it doesn't hurt, not even a bit. Which brings us to the famous 3 clicks. How many of you heard people asking them they want something 3 clicks away? The 3 clicks away rule or 3... Yeah, well, let me tell you something. That's pure bullshit. Why? If we compare phones, I'm not going to talk about the web apps. If you can compare phones to the internet, phones are quicker. No matter how fast the connection is, no matter how what browser you're using, it's slow compared to mobile phones, to mobile apps, sorry, to be exact. So that's why we have this, if you want to call it, I don't know, prerequisite idea or whatever, that it has to be 3 clicks away. It's not. The users will go deep to find the information that they want. They will actually take the phone and tap. Don't make it a tap, tap, dance kind of application, but they will go as far as they need to get the information that they want. Buttons are disappearing. If you look at phones, if you look at the N9, for example, it's a phone that you can control without using any buttons. You have to swipe left, right, up, down. You're controlling the phone. The example that we saw, Clear, it's a buttonless feature application. You swipe, you pull, you drag, you use it without any buttons, and it gets the job done. It's a bit experimental, and we're far away from going with buttonless featured phones or apps, but it's there. It was an added layer of complexity, if you want, or friction. So they took it away, and they created the illusion that it's not there anymore. Well, what's happening is actually content. It's the content that's driving the interaction. It's these complex stuff, it's these friction, if you want, that are driving the interaction. Technology aside, platform aside, the design aside, it's all about the content. And when I'm talking about content, I'm not talking about articles. Actually, the content of the app and the goal of the app. Small example, Google Earth. The content in Google Earth actually drives the interaction in the website. You have buttons, you have menus, you have everything laid out there. But actually the content will take you out and invite you to explore more. And people are not complaining. If you use it, you'll see yourself without using the search sometimes. You'll just zoom in, just travel around just to find whatever you want. So, when you're using your phone, you're multitasking. You're holding your phone, you're doing small tasks. You're using it on the go. In the car, don't text and drive. But some of you do. For local information and for entertainment. When it comes to entertainment, before the iPhone, we didn't need an app to fart. Sorry for that. Excluding the whoopee cushion. We did that naturally. Then came the iPhone, they gave us an app to actually release gas. But what they did with that is actually take the phone, take the utility spirit of the phone, and make it actually an accessory. If you leave your phone at home, you'll turn around, go get your phone, and come back. We view mobile phones as accessories. And we view the applications as accessories too. The software's utility, work, whatever, it got washed away. We shift from utility to content to entertainment. So, and all of that we're pointing out, these are friction. These are complexities that we're tackling and we're handling. People actually want to explore. I know Hussam in the crowd uses Nike Plus all the time. They want to go and explore deeper. They want the content. They don't want dumbed down applications. Daily burn. And another example is Bloom, your own spiritual / whatever coach you want. Users want to dig deep, and it's actually the content that's driving them. What does the friction do? Whoever uses WordPress, he knows that automatically has to tag the post that he does. It doesn't do it automatically. This is a layer of friction. You actually stop, you actually think, and you actually tag your post and then post it online. This is friction. You're not seeing the friction because it's presented in a simplified way, in a friendly way. It's not dumbed down. Can anybody name an ergonomic failure that some use every single day on a mobile phone? iPhone fanboys, anybody? It's the slide to unlock. This is an ergonomic failure. If you study ergonomics or you're into ergonomics, you know that this is a failure, a total failure in ergonomics. But what did Apple do here? They actually added a friction, a layer of friction. You have to stop, you have to think, and you have to swipe to open it. And they did the same thing with deleting. They got rid of confirmation screens. You have to swipe, and then you delete. What they did here is add friction. They added friction big time. They added an ergonomic failure big time there. They got you to slow down, think, act, and not regret what you did. You're avoiding accidental and annoying screens. Are you sure you want to delete this? They got rid of that. So, I'm going to leave you with a few pointers. Get people to slow down. Don't be afraid. Whenever you're designing your applications, don't be afraid to get them to slow down. Get people to think. Give them a story. Give them a path to follow from A to Z. Give them shortcuts for the power users. Give them something to explore, to dive deep in the application and that short attention span that they have. And last but not least, You're not going to succeed from the first time. You're not going to hit home run from the first time, but it's okay. You have to try, and eventually you'll get there. So if anybody has a question or something. Perfect. Okay, thank you very much.